Peace, 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 peace. Greeting. All right, let's dive into this piece. This is Professor Griff, and of course, this is. Hold on for a second. It ain't it yet. It might be in a second, but hold on. Let's see if we can do that. 1 second, fam. Give me 1 second. Let me send this to myself. Da 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 da. All right, peace, peace, peace. All right, finally got it together, I think. All right, greetings, family. How's everyone doing? This is Professor Griff, and this is the Black Power Media Reloaded, and we're right black here on a Monday. I guess I could say afternoon. To talk about some very important things, and today we're going to talk about what is Black culture. All right, but before that, we're going to take a dive into who's in the building, and then we're going to talk about a few things, lay out a few things, and then we're going to kind of dive in it. All right. Hold on 1 second, fam. All right, let me see. All right. Black Power Media Reloaded. Politics, culture, and activism. All right, guess Kalaji trying to let me know something without really letting me know something. This dude, man. Kalaji, I called you today, bro. You're supposed to let me in on a few things. He's like, well, what is that, Professor Griff, man? You always causing trouble.
Peace, fam. This is Professor Griff.
Oh, not that. Hold on. He's supposed to be letting me know this is the 4th anniversary. Today, Monday, February 17th, of the Black Power Media Reloaded. This is our celebration, all right? So if this is our celebration, right, why am I just figuring this out? Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, fam. I'm coming. Don't go nowhere. Be right black. Hold on. All right. I think I got it together. All right, Kalanji. Thank you very much for not letting me know that was a slip of the tongue. Yeah, I would like to have known that so I could prepare something, because if this is the 4th anniversary, I've only been rocking with it for a year, so I would need to have known that. But anyway, shout out to the Black Power Media Reloaded. All right, I'm going to dive into this subject real quick. So the question now becomes, what is Black culture? All right, can we say that Black Power Media's 4th anniversary? Is this part of Black culture? Are you part of Black culture? And then what is the impact, the overall impact of Black culture on the overall society? All right. All right. What is Black culture and what is its impact and influence over the overall society? All right. In the meantime, between time, we're going to dive in to figure out who is joining us this afternoon, this early afternoon. All right. Okay. All right. Whoo! Shout out to everyone from Strong Island. All right, Strong Island, New York. Damn, you in Huntington Station? All right, that's out there, but Huntington's cool. I got you, Huntington Station. All right, Alex, nice. You from Denver, Colorado, RBG. All right, that's cool. They got RBGs in Denver, I think. I'm sure. All right, Sweet D, what's good with you? All right. Nasir, peace. Assalamu alaikum. What's happening? All right. Where are you checking in from? I need to know that. All right. Because it's a critical conversation. This is the conversation that brings out all the trolls, that brings out all the identity theft people, that brings out everyone that actually hate not only Black culture, but they're Black and sometimes they hate themselves. All right. So this is one of those conversations that bring out all of the Looney Tunes. All right. This is the conversation that invokes fear, anxiety, I don't know, lies, distortion, untruths, whatever, but we're going to dive into it today. All right. Anyway, DC is in the building. All right. All right, so I think we should just kind of dive into it without any further ado. I'm seeing some lint, some paper, some something on my hat, but we'll talk about it later. Anyway, let's have the conversation, fam. So, let me see. I had pulled up an article. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I had it in front of me, but this is one of them kind of situations you just kind of gotta go for it. All right. Don't worry about it. I got it. All right. Black culture. What is Black culture? So what we're going to do from the outstart and from the beginning, I think we're going to do a very basic thing that we would do if we're studying to do a paper or we're just studying for some basic information. Let's start out at the root. All right, as we invite the people to come on in from the DMV. David, what's good with you? All right. Unicom Savage, San Francisco, what's good? Virginia Beach. Gerald, what's happening with you, man? First St. Cloud, Florida. I don't even know where that's at, bro. Assalamu alaikum. From Columbia, South Carolina. All right. All right. Let's talk. Black culture. We're not going to operate, after we lay the base, we're not going to operate from the branching out. We want to operate from the root. All right. We're going to operate from the root, and then we're going to dive in. All right. Black culture. Black culture refers to the diverse range of customs. Diverse range of customs. All right. Traditions, beliefs, art forms, languages, and social behaviors that have emerged from the experience and the contributions of Black people, contributions of people of African descent. Okay. Not only African descent, but those that were prior to Africa, if y'all want to go that deep. Some might want to. All right. Encompassing a shared history, identity, and community across various regions like Africa, the Americas, and the Caribbean islands. Essentially, it's the cultural expression of Black people worldwide, including African American culture as a significant part. All right. That is I don't know, a basic working definition. Can I say that? A basic working definition. And then whatever your definition is, I think we can kind of go and do that. All right, so I'm going to put that on the screen. All right, if I can. This is what we're talking about, fam. All right, Black culture. Now, keep in mind, so if we're going to deal with the working fundamental definition, and what we're going to do is we're going to add on to the cipher. You're going to come in, and before you say anything, we need to get what is your definition of Black culture? And or what's your definition of culture? We can kind of start there. All right. We can start there, then I think we can kind of pull this back a little like this so we can get the full picture. All right. I'm going to go to my comments, and then we're going to actually have a conversation about it. At the 30-minute mark, I'm going to bring everyone in to actually have the conversation. And remember the rules. All right. If you are know-it-all, you will be blocked and banned. All right. If you come on disrespectful, you will be blocked, banned, and hunted down. All right. If you are one of those individuals that want to threaten people like you're a keyboard killer, all right, then yeah, we're going to talk to you. Yeah, we'll entertain you for a second, but we'll have to talk to you. All right. So keep it G, keep it good. All right. Not gangster, but just keep it good. All right. And then we'll end up having that conversation respectfully. All right. Can we do that? Black culture refers to the diverse range of customs, traditions, beliefs, art forms, languages, and social behaviors that have emerged from the experiences and contributions of people of African descent, encompassing a shared history. Identity, and community across various regions like Africa and the Americas and the Caribbean. Essentially, it's the cultural expression of Black people worldwide, including African American culture, as a significant part of it. And I could say right above the root of it, especially for this conversation. All right. So the first question is, what is Black culture? What is culture? As I turn my ringer off. All right. What is Black culture? All right. So when I did some basic research, I just kind of like looked at it and said, okay. Hold on for a second. Stop sharing. And let me share again. I said, well, what is Black culture? I just Googled it and I put it in. And as you can see, so many various different things came up. All right. So when I went to define and then redefine what is Black culture, some things came up that I even had to wrestle with myself. Okay. Taking the good with the bad. Now, if you have something very negative to say, we're not going to readily block you, but we just want to have a conversation with you because we're going to use the same litmus test that you would put Black people under, as far as culture is concerned. We're going to put all the other people on the planet under use that same litmus test when it comes to them. All right. Okay. All right. Black culture influence on society. Can we kind of start there? All right. We're going to pull that up. All right. Black culture influence on society. That's one article from the Village Connect. All right. Okay. And our sister Jessica gives us that we're going to read from her work. And then at the same time, simultaneously, and I'm sure y'all can work with me and do this with me, we're going to pull up some stuff and ask some questions at the same time. So it's going to move rapidly. So rock with me, fam. All right. If y'all can do that, I'm sure y'all can. Y'all are a very intelligent audience, and I'm sure that y'all can rock with me. All right, here we go. So for the people on IG, if y'all can see my hand, we good. All right. Hold on. Let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way. So for the people on IG, I need y'all to rock with me for a second, because what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some things, some books and some other stuff. As we do this, I need you to let me help you build your digital library. Any of the information, if you don't have, that I put up or talk about it, hit me up at seriousmindsinfo@gmail.com. I'll get you the resource material and you can take it from there. I don't want to come on here and talk about it and not help you build yourself. All right. Okay. Respectfully. All right. As I clean my glasses and turn this back around, we're going to dive into this particular subject, and let's make it happen, fam. All right. So, in any event, I had to look up and look at the idea of culture from the perspective of coming up with a basic fundamental definition. So if culture is your way of life, if culture is how you move, how you think, how you dress, the music you listen to, how you connect with your ancestors, how you connect with nature, all right? If this is defining what your culture is, then let's look at aspects of what is your culture, what used to be your culture. And then if it used to be your culture, well, what happened that it's not your culture today? I'm asking some very simplistic, very simple questions that you do not need to ask me or answer to me. You need to take these questions and ask them to yourself, and then begin the process, all right, using this as a reference point to move forward. Answer the question to yourself and answer it for yourself. Who are you? I think it was Frantz Fanon, and y'all can correct me if I'm incorrect, that asked us to ask ourselves the three questions. Who are we? Where are we? Who are we? Where are we in the world? And, oh, come on, why are these three questions escaping me? Who are we? What are we? And where are we at in the world? Is that the three questions? And is it Frantz Fanon or is it Dr. John Henry Clark? As a matter of fact, it escapes me. Maybe y'all can help me out with those three questions. Who are we? Who are we? What are we? Where are we at in the world? How did we get here where we are presently today? How did we get here? All right. Let's just ask these questions to the self and let the self begin to define the self. All right. Thank you very much, Super Micah J. Shout out to Quan. Shout out to Johnny Taylor. Shout out to Little Goddess. All right. Who are we? Where are we? Are we all that we ought to be in this world? And if not, why not? All right. So as we dive into the article, we're going to go back to those questions to answer those questions, and I'm going to give you some resource material. Black culture, influence on society. In a society that thrives on diversity, the profound impact of Black culture on society cannot be overlooked. From art and music to language and fashion, the dynamic tapestry of Black culture has woven itself into the very fabric of our global community. We'll explore the remarkable ways in which Black culture has brought about a positive change while fostering unity, creativity, and empowerment. That is a beautiful way to start, Mr. Double B, Randall Bowen. I think that's a beautiful place to start. What's good, Mo? All right, that's a beautiful place to start. And thank you very much, Jessica, for this article. All right, let's start with some basic stuff. Who are the Black inventors that invented nearly 99.9% of the things that not only people in America use, we talk about everyone, but even around the globe? We're talking about deep, complex mathematical equations. We talk about the whole idea of thought. We talk about the whole idea of connecting with the cosmic forces, the whole idea of ritual, the whole idea of connecting on a telepathic level, the whole idea of getting so deep that it affects not only your DNA, but from a cellular level. All right, we talk about the people that set thought in motion, that arrange and adorn the heavens and the earth. All right. We talk about the people that come from the triple darkness that cannot be defined using English language. All right. KM, thank you very much. We talk about the original man and the original woman. All right. But as Jessica says in her article, we could talk about music, the vibratory frequency of sound that uttered in God, him, and herself. Music that transcends the boundaries. Black culture has gifted us with an extraordinary array of musical genres, each of which has cross-cultural borders and transcend time. From the soulful rhythms of gospel and the blues to infectious beats of hip-hop and R&B. Black artists have shared the experiences, pain, and joy through music. These genres have not only shaped musical landscapes, but also served as platforms for social commentary and advocacy during positive change. And it has. LaVar Anderson says we are gods. All right. When that door of L, I'm not understanding what you're giving me when you talk about digital cellular base station and oh, I got you, good bro. All right. Ernest Grant, he just found out the other day that a black woman invented the microwave oven. We're going to get right back to that, Ernst. All right. Jesse Russell was born in Nashville, Tennessee in 1948. He invented the digital cellular base station and the fiber optic. All right. Now back to Ernie's comment on what he just found out. But check this out, Ernie. Get these two books, Ernst. Black people invented every damn thing. Let me not say that. Black people invented everything. All right? Supreme understanding. So when you talk about black people invented everything, it's like, wow, whoa, hold up. I thought we was the people that invented nothing. I thought they told Dr. John Henry Clark and Malcolm X and others that we contributed nothing to society, nothing to the world, nothing to civilization. But yet we come along and we dig up the evidence, and then we present a body of work like this. Black people invented every damn thing. We would go through the book, but I want you to go through the book for yourself. And black people invented everything. So how I see why now you want to silence DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because if you have to include us, you might start excluding the lies that you've told about us and you told about yourself. Then we can go over a simple book like this that's on the 3rd, 4th grade level. We can talk about black inventors crafting over 200 years of success when they said we've done nothing. Literally said we've done nothing, but yet 200 years of success as far as inventors are concerned. You saw the brothers the other day, Ernie, on what did I see it on? I think it was on Instagram, maybe on Facebook. They invented a robotic arm out of square parts that they got out of the dumpster. All right, to help their people in their village that had no arms. So they invented a robotic arm just using the thought waves. This is people with nothing that have done this. Pulling out scraps that we throw away. I heard Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad say the other day that the same God force, shout out to my man Khalil, the DJ, the same God force that set the universe in motion is the same God force that exists inside of you. You just got to tap into it and set it in motion. All right? And these individuals that put together these inventions as inventors have. All right? You need to set that God force in motion and free it up. All right? With this book and this book. See, these are the books that you should have in your library if you have a young niece and nephew at home. If you have young children at home or grandchildren at home. You should start buy a bookshelf. I don't care if you got to make one and build one. I don't care if you have to get that ugly ass furniture from IKEA and paint it. All right, but get something. Start a bookshelf. Start out with 1 or 2 books. All right, then begin a library for your grandchild. All right, we could do that today. All right, starting with these 2 books. All right, let's get back to the article. I'm reading y'all's comments. I'm not neglecting y'all. Hold on now. The sister talked about fashion as a statement of identity. So we start talking about identity and identity theft. We can talk about everyone that have stolen our ideas, everyone that have stolen our identity because they had none. All right, they did, but I think in certain languages, certain people call them blank or blanco. Come on now, it's not Professor Griff's language. I'm just saying. All right. Culinary delights, fashion, music, social movement, and activism. All right. In embracing the positive impact of Black culture, we celebrate not only its achievements, but also the ability to inspire unity, resilience, and progress. And even our culture affects other people's culture. All right. My man Vinny says the original Olmecs. Thank you. What are we doing about what, Ben Bay? I don't understand what you're talking about. We're building over here. That's what we're doing. I don't know what you're talking about. We've already done something about it. We gave the world civilization. All right. So then in understanding Black culture and what it is, let me go back to my original paragraph statement that I laid out. All right. In case you're just joining me, this is Professor Griff. Yeah, we're talking about Black culture and how it affects other cultures. All right. And what is this impact on other cultures? So if you're just joining me, we laid this out in the outstart, at the outstart of this particular talk. Black culture refers to the diverse range of cultures. So all the other cultures that's borrowed from Black culture, all right, they refuse to give the credit to Black people. But we've affected other cultures, all right? At the core and the root, as Dr. Rashidi, Runoko Rashidi teaches us, at the core of a lot of these other civilizations lie the Black man and woman, especially in Asia. As Eugene Adams gives us that particular lesson, Africans in Asia. Look it up. Don't gloss over that. Right now, click another page, open up another page and look up Africans in Asia, Eugene Adams. All right. Hold on. Don't go nowhere, fam. Africans in Asia. I'm going to help you look it up. I'm going to look it up with you, matter of fact. All right. Africans in Asia, Eugene Adams. I'm going to put the link in the chat in a minute so I can bring you on. Dr. Eugene Adams, Africans in Asia. All right. Let me stop sharing and then we're going to talk. I'm going to play something for you and we're going to talk. All right. Hold on for a second. Share. All I did was put in Africans in Asia. All right. Eugene, and he just pulled up some stuff. All right, but let's go back here.
See this property on Craigslist for $4,300 a month? Well, it's been sitting empty for the last 28 days, and there's 40.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I just hope that you're doing fine wherever you are today. There is a couple of
This and tell us what they be telling y'all at home that make y'all not like us so bad.
So you already know a lot of what my content covers, like racial triangulation, the model minority myth, Asian businesses in Black neighborhoods, affirmative action, and so on. As for what I was told in the home behind closed doors when I was growing up, that's not the most fun trip down memory lane, but I always like to be honest about acknowledging anti-Blackness among Asian Americans, especially when the call was coming from my own house, so here we go. I first became aware of my mom's anti-Blackness when I started kindergarten, and it mostly centered around avoiding interactions with Black people and not allowing me to be exposed to anything that she considered Black culture. So if we were walking and she saw a Black person, she would pull me closer to her. If we were in the car in a parking lot and saw a Black person in the parking lot, she would make a point to lock the doors. And I wasn't allowed to listen to rap or Michael Jackson or Tina Turner. And she was hypocritical about that because I wasn't allowed to listen to Cyndi Lauper or Madonna either. She would call it trash music and say that it was going to be a bad influence. But if it was a white artist, it was not racialized. It was only when it was Black artists that it was racialized. And another thing that I think is kind of typical is, as a musician, there were a lot of Black artists whom she respected and enjoyed, but she would always say that one Black artist is the exception, the rest are bad influences. When I went to school, if I came home and said I made a friend, her first question would be white or Black. And that drove me nuts because in preschool, I dealt with a lot of bullying and discrimination because of being Asian. So it didn't make sense to me that she wanted me to turn around and do that very same thing to my Black classmates whom she knew nothing about on the basis of their skin color. And when I wouldn't stay away from my Black friends, she would resort to making up justifications as to why it was harmful for me. She would say they're going to hurt me and they're going to be a bad influence because they fight and they swear and they're not good students. And of course, none of that was true. And in my household, it was not physically or emotionally safe to voice your opinions, but about that I would, because it literally angered me. And then she would resort to physical violence. And that sealed the deal in my mind that prejudice is purely irrational because none of her claims had any basis in reality, and that's why she had to resort to physical force. Unfortunately, I think that when parents resort to intimidation and violence to instill prejudice in their children, a lot of times it works. But I was very lucky because the principal of my elementary school was a Black woman who implemented a program called Students Educating Each Other About Discrimination. And that wasn't centered on racial discrimination, it was about discrimination in general. But in that program, we learned to have discussions about discrimination and to identify it and disrupt it. Which at that age just means if you witness discrimination, say it's discrimination and articulate how you know that it's discrimination. So from learning that very powerful tool at school, I was able to identify that what my mom was doing at home was wrong. Additionally, the principal was a Black woman, so I had a Black woman in a position of leadership as a role model. And in my school district, she wasn't a token. They really valued Black leadership from teachers to administration, guidance counselors, all the way up to superintendents. And so I was surrounded by Black role models who made me see that reality did not line up with what my mom was trying to teach me. The straw that broke the camel's back was sometime around the ages of between 7 and 9. I was planning a birthday party and I told my mom that I want to invite my friend Keisha, which I knew was going to be an issue, but I thought I would try. And she said no. And I said, fine, then I don't want to have a birthday party. And she made me have the birthday party. So now that felt like that's not only cruel to me, but that's cruel to my friend Keisha, whom you don't even know because you refuse to meet her. Shortly after that, we were walking in the mall, and my mom did this thing that she often did, which is she sees Black people minding their own business, and under her breath, she mumbles a derogatory term in Chinese for Black people. And I remember I pulled back on her hand and faced her, and I said, "They are not doing anything. You don't know them. The next time you do that, I am going to go up to them and I'm going to tell them what you said."
Wow.
And believe it or not, the fear of exposure by me actually made her tone it down, and she stopped doing that in public. Fortunately, my mom did not live and die that way. In later years, she came around to seeing and later openly admitting how wrong she was. In her older age, one of her best friends really was Black, and my mom admitted to her friend what her previous attitudes had been and why. And from those conversations, I was able to gain some insight as to what my mom's motivation was for her anti-Blackness. Because I think most people feel, since Asian Americans also are harmed by white supremacy, how does it make any sense for Asian Americans to be anti-Black? My mom spent most of her young life in Hong Kong when it was under British occupation, and then in the 1950s, she came to the United States when she was 16 years old. Generations before my mom, her family had been living in and doing business around Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Macau, which were French, British, and Portuguese occupied areas. So she was heavily indoctrinated into anti-Blackness in Hong Kong, where she had no exposure to Black people that would have shown her a different reality. And furthermore, what she was indoctrinated into is the idea that an Asian can elevate their status in white spaces by aligning with white supremacy, which includes aligning with anti-Blackness. So I think what my mom was doing with me is that from a young age, she saw that I was having a hard time as an Asian American assimilating. So she felt that if I associated with Black classmates, that would make assimilating into white spaces even harder. And she was concerned that associating with Black classmates would negatively impact my status in white spaces. Well, we all know with me that the outcome was I understand very clearly what spaces I want to be part of and what spaces I don't. So my mom was really proud that she was Westernized. She was proud that she spoke English without an accent, that she was very well versed in European culture, and she actually looked down upon my dad for being what she called traditional and therefore backwards. Right, so where was my dad in all of this? My dad grew up in Taiwan, where he had no exposure to Black people, but he also had very little exposure to Western media. I think when he came to the United States, he was a bit uncertain around Black people because of the lack of familiarity and the slight media bias, but it only took a very little being around Black people to see that prejudice is irrational and that it serves a white supremacist agenda that he doesn't want to uphold. As I said before, in my household, it wasn't physically or emotionally safe to voice opinions that differed from my mom, so I do understand why my dad didn't speak up when my mom was being anti-Black. He had a hard enough time keeping my brother and I safe. However, what he would do is when it was just my dad and I, he would make sure to teach me or give me resources about accurate Black history. So for example, a lot of my mom's rhetoric surrounded musicians. So my dad would teach me about Berry Gordy, Chuck Berry, Marian Anderson, Jesse Norman. If the claim was that Black people don't value education, he would tell me about Black scholars, academics, and scientists, and so on. So that, in a nutshell, is what I was told at home behind closed doors when I was growing up. I find that a good way to help people who have a different lived experience than you exercise empathy for the struggles that you face that they may not be familiar with is to help them understand. And I was hoping that you could help me understand what anti-white racism looks like. Can you tell me about how you don't know where your ancestors came from because they were kidnapped and enslaved? Or how you don't know what languages they spoke, what spiritual practices they had, or what traditional knowledge that should have been your birthright was lost, not because they were allowed to and wanted to assimilate, but because their enslavers or residential schools forced them to assimilate. Can you tell me about how your ancestors had explosives tied to them while they were building the United States railroads, and then as a show of appreciation, they were excluded from society for nearly 60 years? And could you tell me about the hundreds of towns that were destroyed, like the Black towns and Chinatowns and Japan towns, all destroyed by the same demographic? Can you tell me about the children who were unalived because they whistled at a woman or because they floated in a lake a little too far past the segregation line? And can you tell me how it was for your parents and your grandparents to be United States citizens who were put in internment camps on United States soil? Can you tell me how it was for your family to live in the back of their store because people who look like you were not allowed to purchase or rent homes? And could you tell me how it was for your parents and for you to shed blood to be treated as human, as equal, and to be allowed to simply share the same space as other people. Can you tell me about the conversations that you have to have with your children about police interactions? And could you tell me about how your mother and your sisters and your daughters are concerned about having children because of lack of equitable access to healthcare, because doctors were told that people who look like you can't feel pain? Can you tell me how it feels to know that your ancestors lived here for thousands of years, but when you try to come here, you and your children are put in cages? And can you tell me how it felt when a few years ago, the president entertained having people who look like you expelled from the country again? Can you tell me what anti-white racism looks like beyond having your feelings hurt, feeling uncomfortable, and having your sense of superiority challenged? And when you're done telling me what anti-white racism feels like for you, could you please tell me why you're not fighting to end racism for everybody? It took me a
All right. Okay. That should have kind of, hold on, wait. Okay. That was very interesting and very interesting, and that was very interesting and very telling. Coming from an Asian American, but all the things that she laid out, you had about 10 to 12 questions right there that not only they, but we need to answer for ourselves. Yeah, she kind of set it up and set it in motion. All right, so before I played her, I was going to play Eugene Adams, Africans in Asia. Just so we can get an idea. I know this is probably part 1 of a 9-part series on this whole idea of what is Black culture. I've heard a lot, and the impetus for this, the reason why I wanted to do this simply because I hear a lot of people talking about we don't have a culture. Black people in America don't have a culture. Wow. We don't have a culture. When everyone has taken and built their culture from our culture, you as a Black person would dare to turn around and fix your lips to say that we don't have a culture and not give a decent, thorough, basic, thorough context to that statement. If we did have a culture, what happened to it? Because of racism, white supremacy, our culture was destroyed. Because of the falsification, pardon me, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, the ISIS papers. All right. Okay. Because of the falsification of African consciousness. So we haven't read these books and have taken these now ancestors and hold them in high regard to study their work. You'll never know what happened to Black people. All right. So let's understand that. All right. The falsification of African consciousness. Dr. Amos Wilson. These two might blow your mind, but nonetheless, you need to get them. All right. White architects of Black education. If they've stolen you, stolen your identity, stolen your history, rewrote it, all right, and then wrote you in as something that didn't contribute anything, but they steal everything from you. So when you go to get it back, they are the ones that give you your diplomas and degrees to validate the very same thing that you could study on your own and get the real truth about what happened to you. The white architects of Black education, ideology and power in America, 1865 to 1954. William H. Watkins. White architects of Black education. Racism in the academic marketplace. So I run into a whole lot of Negroes that become apologists for white people. All right? They become apologists for white people. With degrees given to them by white people and refuse to study anything that has not that has anything to do with who we are, truly are as a people, if it hasn't been validated by white people. All right. Racism in the academic marketplace. David C. Johnson. So we're building our library now for the children and the grandchildren. This is some of the work that needs to be on the shelf. All right. Now let's dive into real quick. We're going to dive into Eugene Adams' work, as I put the link inside of the chat here for you to come on. We're only going to have a few minutes, but nonetheless, I need to open it up to you. Let's talk. Let's listen to Eugene Adams for a few minutes, and we'll go from there. Remember, this is Africans in Asia. Dr. Eugene Adams. All right? Let's talk.
Science, music, literature, drama, the whole culture, particularly the religion of all the people of Asia, can be traced directly to the Africans of Asia. India, Japan, China, just to name a few. Even Afro-American history can be traced directly to the Africans of Asia. I know it sounds strange to you, but the world owes a debt to the Africans of Asia. In the following presentation, you'll find out exactly why. Just give me a few seconds. Your ancestors never intended to let you down. In this book, called The Gods of Northern Buddhism, we find a name, the Asian name of the supreme deity of the universe. His name is Sambo. They say when nothing else was, Sambo was. The name of the God of the universe to the people.
Now, did you hear that? The name of the God of the universe was Sambo. Sambo? By the time it got back to America and was filtered through racism, white supremacy, we ended up being black Sambos. It turned into something negative. But the Sambo, and ironically, Little John, I think his hype men, one was Sam and one was Bo. I think, yeah. Go look at who Little John's backup dancers and hype men were. Sam and Bo. The Sambo, which is the black gods. So the Sambo is the black god. Ooh. Thank you, Eugene Adams.
Of Asia. And there are many places that carry this name. This is a depiction of Sambo. This is not an African statue. This is from Asia. And many places in Asia
you're
called
wrong about that.
Sambo Judaisha.
That is the African statue
land
because the Africans were in Asia.
Of Sambo. Various spellings of the word and the name Sambo can be found throughout Asia. Niggas, the divine people of Buddhism.
Naga.
This is a 2nd century depiction of Gautama the Buddha being given his first bath by the divine people of Buddhism called Niggas, a tribe in Asia called Niggas, the divine people of all the people of Asia, symbolized throughout Asia by the serpent or the dragon. That is their symbol, the Naga.
Serpent or the
Means
dragon,
serpent
the
or dragon.
Nagas. Ooh, the cobra. All right. India's good snake. The Nagas. And they simply turned that into they called us niggas. So the niggas of the Nagas and we're the black gods. Yeah, I'm not, yeah. We're gonna stop right there just for that. Yeah, hold on. We're getting a little bit too deep. I'm not sure if people can handle that. I'm sure you can, but yeah. So if the Nagas are the niggas and the niggas are the Nagas and the Nagas are the Sambos, which is the black gods. Wow. Said the devil flipped the script? Of course. Of course. Anyway, we only got a few minutes left. I opened up the chat. No one is chatting. So I'm going to get back to the film so we can finish listening to Eugene Adams, Africans in Asia. All right. I don't want to waste your time. I'm trying to take advantage of this hour. This is the 4th anniversary. Hold on. Hold on 1 second, fam. Where's my brother at? Shout out to 100 Black Rook L Process the info. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. All right. Somebody has sent me a message and says if I need some flyers done. Hardwood Ideas. If you're listening to this, I put my phone number in the chat, 678-557-2919. I sent you a message. Hardwood Ideas, text me, 678-557-2919. Just to let you know, I did not do that flyer. Y'all know my flyers. My flyers be all over the place. But I still need some help. In any event, let's dive back into Africans in Asia by Dr. Eugene Adams, fam.
The snake found at the entrance of every temple, the nigger on the roads, on the hills, in the caves, the symbol of the Asiatic black man, the tribe called the niggers, the divine people. There are cities also throughout Asia that carries this particular name, nigger. It can be seen at all ceremonies dealing with worship of God. From the Nile Valley to the Indus Valley, on tombstones, a symbol of immortality because of the serpent's ability to change his skin is a sign of never dying, and is used throughout the planet Earth, North, South America, Egypt, Asia, Africa, throughout the world. It's the symbol of life after death, the nigger, the serpent. In all ancient cultures, in all ancient religions, the serpent is the symbol, the nigger, the symbol of divinity, of God. The original inhabitants of Southeast Asia was called the Mons, an African tribe. In order to confirm what these people look like, you have to go to the archaeological finds from Davarati, a French archaeological research finding confirming the original inhabitants. There's no depictions preceding these of the original inhabitants of Southeast Asia, the people, the descendants of Sambo, the Asiatic black man. The 7 serpents or 7 rays or the nagas surrounding his head represent the cosmic forces that afford him protection. He is a divine representation of cosmic forces, and those 7 serpents represent his divine mission. He does not come of his own. He's a manifestation of the cosmos. The serpents or the naga represent cosmic forces, which is at his command, which represent him as a divinity. He is the manifestation of the universe. That is the symbol of those serpents you see surrounding his head. In essence, the 7 serpents are cosmological, dealing with astrology, astrological representations of those forces of the cosmos that he represents. He is a universal monarch, a universal king, which he manifests and he shows evidence of. The black man of Asia, the original inhabitants of Asia. He is a human being of flesh and blood. He comes as a teacher, as a manifestation of God. His teachings are called the Dhamma. He is called the Buddha, the intelligent one, the one who has achieved intelligence, or the genie, the conqueror. He comes to explain the laws of the universe. He comes to confirm that there is, in fact, life after death. When the Buddha appears, he appears as a preacher, and he preaches the Dhamma, that existence is a continual cycle of death and rebirth, and that each person's position and well-being in life is determined by his or her behavior in their previous lives.
I'm sure you're looking at this Buddha, and you see that beautiful, kinky, curly, twisted, coily, beautiful black hair on top of his head. That's not a hat. It's not a helmet. That's not a headdress. That's the hair. That's the original Buddha. So when you start seeing all these other Buddhas, all right, no one understands this is the original Buddha. But family, we got to pick this conversation up at another time. All right. Okay, these are the kind of conversations we have to have, probably not on these platforms. We need to get in a class, sit down, dialogue, and build and get this knowledge. If anyone wants the research material on any of this, you can contact me at seriousmindsinfo@gmail.com or just text me 678-557-2919. All right? You get the research material. In any event, hold on. 678-557-2919. Griff. All right, there you go. All right, in any event, more than likely I probably will have to do a what do you call it? I think I can get away with it. All right, Wednesday, I will see everybody on Wednesday. If we'd like to pick up this conversation and move forward, text me or email and let me know. Let's continue this conversation about what is Black culture and how does Black culture influence all the other cultures around the world, especially in America, when we're supposed to have no Black culture. We're supposed to have no culture. They think gang violence and all this other stuff is Black culture. All right, one book that I failed to mention that I think everyone needs to get is Black Out Through Whitewash. All right, they whitewashed our history. All right, which we need to get it back. Shout out to my good sister, Dr. Suzar. All right, Black Out Through Whitewash. Get this book. This book should be on your shelf, on your nightstand next to your Bible, and Quran, and the Vedas, and all these other books. All right, the not only the Apocrypha, but some of the other books, the Kabbalion. All right, but anyway, I'll see everybody Black here on Black Power Media on Wednesday. Shout out to Kalaji and the staff. It's the 4th anniversary. Promise me I'm gonna do something special on the 5th anniversary. Kalaji just kind of caught me off guard. Shout out to everyone that came to the gun show this weekend. All right. Hope you're getting your prepping on. Hope you're getting your training on. Shout out to everyone I made contact with. They don't want me to mention their names because they're doing it real low key. If you want to get into a firearms class, contact your brother, Professor Griff, especially if you're in Atlanta. If you're in other places, other cities, contact me. I know people that know people that know people. All right. You ain't got to have a gun in the UK to train firearms and self-defense. Come on, DJ, Dark Side Jungle. Come on, man. You're killing me. All right. And stop telling me they ain't got guns in the UK. It's the hell they do. You just on the wrong side of the fence. Anyway, Professor Griff, I love y'all to life. All right, I get ready to get out of here. All right. Peace, fam. Hold on. Peace, fam. This is Professor Griff, Public Enemy. Of course, you know, the Minister of Information. Right now, my entire sound library on CD-ROM are available to you in an auction. Right now, you'll get the Public Enemy sound that made some of them songs that you love, the hard-hitting beats. We got kicks, we got snares, we got hi-hats, we got beats, we got loops, we got breaks, we got keyboard sounds, guitar sounds, bass sounds. We got scratching, we got sound effects, we got nature sounds, environmental sounds. We got all kind of sounds from different genres, from jazz to neo-soul to R&B, classic, smooth. These are the beats, breaks, and the sounds that made some of them Public Enemy songs. Get it now. Check this out. Don't make beats, make history. Peace. It's Professor Griff. Hit me up, 678-557-2919. Peace. Peace.